Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Question time. I got a question for you. What opens with a bar scene beatdown and the apprehension of Langford, and what closes with Rebel confronting someone who has been following her, who ends up being Hector, who says that he has info that might be associated with her brother Malik's death? If you guessed Rebel, episode one or two. It's a 2-hour pilot of Rebel on BET. You're right, and I'm about to review it. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts, comments, recapation, stick around. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Okay, so before I get into the details of the show, I just want to say that Giancarlo Esposito is in it, and I don't know if I pronounced his name right or wrong or not, but I do love to say his name, Giancarlo Esposito. And this is written by John Singleton, produced by John Singleton, directed by John Singleton. John Singleton is involved. So we know Mr. John Singleton has done some work, and I was reading an article that said he's a good finder of fresh new talent. So the lead of the show seems to be fresh new talent. There were some people on the show like Giancarlo Esposito or Michael T. Michael T, who I've seen before, but Miss Ladybug Rebel, I've never seen her before, so maybe she's an exciting new talent that we'll be seeing all over the place from here on out. And this is kind of in the tradition of, I'm not really too familiar with black exploitation, but I have seen the movie Die Hard. Have you ever seen that? Or the TV show 24, where the main character is like super, you can't kill him. Die hard or die never. 24, he go through all kinds of stuff and he's just gonna be there. That's how our hero is. She's designed for us to love her, for her to be bold, for her to do some things that seem impossible, except for that we're in the world of fiction. So we are in the world of fiction, although there are lots of realistic elements in it. So we're gonna jump right in. One of the realistic elements that I love is the styling, the hair styling, the styling of the hair and the styling of our main character. She is a beautiful black woman, and she comes across as a beautiful, poised, polished, put together black woman. So just really enjoy, all her various looks. And I really appreciated her using, I've had motorcycle jackets before, but I never actually used the zipper pockets for anything. But Sister Girl used her zipper pocket to carry her baton, which she used in that first scene when she had to beat some people down. It looked like somebody had texted her to tell her that one of her suspects was at her bar, or a bar she likes to frequent. She went there and had to arrest him, or had to get him, yoke him up, and then I guess her partner did the arrestation. So yeah, her partner, Mac, is his nickname. I can't remember his full name, but we just gonna call him Mac, White Mac. He comes and he arrests him or takes him away. We see Rebel and Chyna at home for dinner with her brown liquor drinker, biking father, offensive Orientalism dad. And she's wearing, we're going to talk about the styling of this particular thing, but she has on a Jenna 6 tank top. So that's, it's nice to see a character who reflects black people and the concerns of black people. Yes, black woman. Yes, we love it. I love it. So I like that t-shirt. So her dad, like, you might not have caught all of that, but he is a brown liquor drinker. He is a biker, like a real motorcycle, not like the biker in Shots Fired. This guy has a motorcycle, and he has been known to say some offensive things in terms of calling people Orientals. And I read someplace that calling somebody Oriental is like the same as calling somebody Nigger, and I beg to differ. No, it is not the same. But these days we refer to people as Asian. So, and she's Miss Chyna is, that's Reb and Chyna are close. They're good friends. And I guess they've known each other since high school. And then we go into a scene where we see her brother on the stoop. Her brother is in he's a musician. He's in conservatory, so that's like a serious musician. Like, they don't let everybody into conservatory, but the people on the stoop that he's hanging out with are like, look, we putting all this money in, what's up? So it's sort of like there's some tension between him in the conservatory and getting musical theory, and him wanting to be out on these streets, and in the studio, producing music, or whatever. So we get a sense of that tension. Somebody is calling me, so I can't see my notes at the moment. My phone is permanently on silent because I kept it on silent so long that now I can't unsilent it. I've had it for about 3, 4, 5 years. Whenever I go into a meeting or something, I put it on silent. A lot of times I forget to take it off. Are they going to ever stop calling me? Okay, they stop. Okay. We see her, I guess he's her boss, her mentor, her colleague. I can't really tell. He seems to be the boss. Giancarlo Esposito, whose name is Charles Chuck, is, I don't know his last name, but he is dealing with, seems like some new cops, and he's having them study the Odyssey. So I think that's Greek literature. So, he's sort of established as an intellectual and as someone who's trying to mentor and groom people, his colleagues, or his workers, not only as physical giants or brutality giants, but intellectual giants as well. He comes across as a really sweet, nice guy. He's like a fatherly figure. And then we later see her, we get the sense of Rebel, who's the main character, as a wild card. When she beats the guy up at the bar, and then her partner comes in and arrests him. We're supposed to do this as a couple. You're like a wild card. And then the boss, or Giancarlo Esposito, Chucky Charles, says something to her of the same effect. So we definitely have her character established as someone who maybe doesn't play by their rules. She just plays by her rules. And I read that that's like kind of one of the tenets of blaxploitation. So I don't know if she's in the tradition or not, but I just did a little bit of reading because I was curious. Okay, so Detective Knight. Rebel's last name is Knight. Her first name is Rebecca. She's a Becky, but she ain't a Becky. She's a Rebel. Okay. Oh, they left a voicemail. And then she's Rebel Knight, and then McIntyre is Mac's last name. And they respond, they get a call over the radio saying that there's a black male suspect. She says, what else? Is always a black male suspect. So we see she has a little bit of consciousness. They get into the alley, drop your weapon, the person is running, turn around, drop your weapon. That's her speaking. And he turns around, he ends up throwing the weapon on the ground, and he's like, oh, you gonna shoot me, sis? She realizes it's her brother Malik. I have a brother Malik too. But my brother Malik. Okay, so anyway, she's like, oh my gosh, it's Malik. What are you doing out here? Boy, put that gun down. She talking to him like big sis. Meanwhile, McIntyre is like spazzing out. And she's like, Mac, put your gun down. That's my brother Malik. You met Malik. Mac, stop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Now, I missed something, but when she spoke about it later, she said that he shot, and so she shot Mac to prevent him from just killing her brother. I missed him shooting, but I could tell that he was like freaking out. So she shoots Mac so he won't shoot her brother, who is unarmed, who's thrown the gun away, and then before, so he has thrown the gun away. She has shot Mac. She's talking to him. She's like, you're going to be okay, but I can't have you out here shooting my brother. Meanwhile, a million cop cars pull up, probably like 3 or 5, I don't know. Matt and her brother Malik kind of sees what's going on. Oh my gosh, he's being surrounded by cops. He's the black male suspect, so he starts to run. I don't think that the outcome would have been different if he had run or not run, but these cops end up shooting him. While they're shooting him, she's like, no, don't shoot. It's my brother. Don't shoot. He's not armed. And so, he ends up being gunned down right in front of her. Traumatic. So we see Malik's funeral. It's very small. I'm surprised it's not more people there from the neighborhood or school. He's a young man. It seems like he would have more people at his funeral, but maybe they didn't want to be bothered with a bunch of extras. His dad Malik and Rebel's dad during the funeral ends up yelling at Rebel and blaming her for Malik's death, and then he's like confusing her with her mom. He's calling her by her mother's name. Her ex is at the funeral with his her name is Tasha, and her ex comes out to check on her because she and her dad step out of the funeral because she like, be quiet, and then, they're talking. Then her ex comes up and he's kind of comforting her, but it's very intimate. And I don't know if we knew at this point, but eventually we find out that that's her ex-husband, not just her ex-boyfriend. So we see Rebel in mourning. There's like a montage of her, laying on the couch. She's flashing back to her brother younger. She's flashing back to her time in the military. She's flashing back to her brother's shooting. She's flashing back to her dead mom, Bernadette, telling her, it might not be a flashback, it may be an ancestral visit or a projection or whatever, but her mother tells her to get it together. Ain't nobody feeling sorry for you, whatever, let's get it going. Meanwhile, she's able to hear her door ringing, knocking, whatever. Her girl Chena is there. Chena has some food. They eat. We see a little bit more of her breaking down and throwing things with her friend there, kind of comforting her. We hear a voiceover of Rebel's poetry. So in her voice, so I don't know if I might have already known that she was a poet by the time I saw the beginning, because I saw the end coming back from rehearsal late, and then I watched the beginning. So, but we hear her doing her poetry, and then Chena's like, take a bath, girl, you stink. So she takes a bath. We see her kind of getting herself together. She's heading out. As she's heading out, she gets rolled up on by Officer Friendly. That's Giancarlo Esposito, Charlie Chucky. And +2, and they like, you ain't responded to internal affairs. If you don't show up for this appointment 1 hour from now, they're going to draw their own conclusions. We're your Uber. We're here to take you and, go get dressed. Let's go. So she goes to her internal affairs interview. There's a little baby outside playing on the street. She goes to her internal affairs interview. She says that Mac fired on an unarmed civilian, so she shot Mac in the femur to stop him from executing her brother. And y'all just keep misrepresenting the facts. She storms out of the interview. There is this I love the scene. It was like an extreme close-up of her. It was an extreme close-up of her. And then she throws some tables and it's like, I'm not taking this, whatever. She storms out of the interview, and then she runs into Officer Cruz. I'm assuming some of these characters are going to carry on. Cruz is a Latina woman. Oh, how does it feel to be on the other side? She's kind of hostile and aggressive. We don't know the history. We don't know the context, but we don't like her because Rebel's already our girl. So who is she? And why is she talking to Rebel like that? Huh? Okay. And then she also runs into... after Cruz, she runs into Mac's brother, who's calling her a black bitch, all out in public in the police station. I'm like, who does that? Oh my gosh. And he is really, really upset because she shot his brother. And I'm kind of like, he's kind of missing the fact that his brother shot her brother and her brother is dead. But it's like all of that is like over their head. And it's kind of like, it's just amazing to me in real life and on the TV show. Because I think in real life, a lot of times, some of these people are really just insensitive or like just illogical with how they process information. Like, why would his brother being almost crippled even come close to her brother being dead? They're not even in the same category. And so they end up getting into an altercation, and he's like, you're a traitor. She's a traitor. And Chucky, Giancarlo, Officer Friendly. Okay, I'll come back for part 2. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.